Good. So, hi Max.
Hello.
I'm still at ETHMilan, as you guys can see. Awesome courtyard. I'm here with Max from the project which I keep messing up the name, but it's Connext, not the context. All right. Max, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, like background? How do you go up to crypto, and how the project actually started?
No, for sure. Well, my name is Max Lomuscio. I am the growth leader at Connext.
Turn
This
it
way.
around.
Oh,
My
sorry.
mistakes,
Okay,
right?
now it makes
Don't
sense.
worry.
It makes
Wrong
sense.
way.
Uh-huh.
This is the live recording.
That's the
That's how
basics.
it works.
That's the basics. Um, yeah, so I got into crypto a few years ago. I was fascinated by the idea of composable money and composable and programmable money. So I started to gravitate around the ecosystems and gradually got more involved into different startups until I found out about Connext. Connext is a protocol, an interoperability protocol, so a bridge that allows you to move tokens and data across the different chains in a very, very secure way. Connex was born actually in 2016, so it's one of the OG projects in the space. We were the first one. We actually built the first layer 2 in the space together with Chain. We were the first trustless bridge between Optimism and Ethereum, and we've since evolved our architecture and our vision. But the core idea is that Connex wants to enable builders rather than users to really create applications that can interact with any smart contract on any chain and be accessible from any chain. So the next objective is really to abstract the experience for users so they don't have to think about the chains that they're using. We are really headed towards a world with 1,000 rollups, 1,000 layer 2s, 1,000 chains. And so it will be important for applications to be able to create an experience where users do not have to think about which chains they're using, to think about bridging, to think about gas tokens, and all these aspects can be abstracted thanks to Connext and this protocol.
You see, handing over the mic has one advantage. I can't jump into you speaking, so it kind of naturally leads the discussion. I love, the idea, because I always believe that, the future is kind of multi-chain, but it brings all sorts of practical problems for like ordinary users, and I think even for OGs, like people who are here for a long time, it's just to manage all the wallets and chains and know what's sitting where is just really annoying, if not impossible, in many times. So I love what Connex is doing. Does it mean that normal, let's say typical MetaMask user or Rainbow user wouldn't really know that the tech behind whatever they are using is run by you guys?
That's the ultimate objective, let's say. But if you think about the current experience when you're using an application, let's say that you hold funds on Polygon, for example, right? And then you want to use an application that is on Optimism. What you have to do right now is to actually leave the application, go to a bridge, right? Bridge your funds from Polygon to Optimism. Then you have to buy ETH on the. Well, first you have to switch your RPC on the wallet, right? Which is already a big challenge. And then you have to buy ETH find a way to buy ETH or the native token on that rollup on the destination chain. And then you're able to interact with the app, right? So all these type of steps that increase frictions are just going to increase as more rollups come out, as more not only layer 2s but layer 3s come up. So we are creating a very we are actually worsening the experience for the users. So via integration with Connex, the same applications are able to create this chain abstracted experience where they basically say, hey, you user want to deposit funds into my vault. It doesn't matter where you have the funds. It doesn't matter where I am deployed. You can basically just click a button and all these steps that we mentioned before are executed for you underneath, without you having to know. And this is the experience that we want to know, right? We want to build, right? It's similar to the chain abstraction experience. We don't want people to think about approving transactions, buying gas and all these kind of things. This is like more related to the multi-chain world. So we're trying to abstract the ideas of chains ultimately.
Okay, that sounds really interesting on a future-looking side. So, are there any dApps which are currently using Connext which we might know of, and they're not deeply degen focused?
Yes, of course. So this is a very nascent industry, nascent trend, nascent industry, of course, but then also nascent trend and technology. So the basic applications that you can create with this is a bridge, right? On top of Connex. So the idea that the ability to move tokens in a simplified way. And so we've been integrated by the biggest, biggest apps, including MetaMask, for example, if you heard about it. When you actually want to move the tokens from one chain to another one, you might be using Connex underneath. But then, these type of new experiences that we are enabling are kind of like nascent, and then, we're seeing new applications coming out that are building these kind of things. And so, some of the interesting apps that, are part of the ecosystems are Alchemix, for example, Superfluid with streaming tokens, Gelato, Dodo, and then, we're getting more and more integrated into the safe ecosystem, for example, with the idea that you can actually create cross-chain DAOs, for example, so DAOs that are able to interact with multiple chains. We're getting integrated with UMA, so there are a lot of protocols that are creating composable blocks together with Connext to extend the possibilities not only on one specific chain, but on all the chains that are coming out.
Okay, now you actually made it real, even for me. It's like, all of the names you mentioned, I know. We will have some of them on the podcast, like friend from Superfluid, hopefully, very soon. So that makes a lot of sense. So it kind of begs the question, I think everybody building any sort of an app which works with tokens should use Connext, because that would make it easier for everybody else. Is that true?
Yeah, that's that's a very wishful thinking. I love it. Yes, I mean we are definitely eager to support all the builders in creating these better experiences for users, and our core focus is also around security. Cross-chain as historically being one of the weakest spots for the different applications, right? The biggest hacks have happened around bridges. So, we need some work around educating people on how to build better experiences, but also how to build secure cross-chain experiences. And this is something that Connex has been obsessed about, and I think will be, our key value proposition forever.
Okay, so maybe can you share some numbers and then maybe like a future plan, because it seems we all know it's new, but it's growing fast, especially number of chains.
Yep.
So what's the, I don't know, do you guys count it in users or money transferred, or what are the metrics you are going after?
So one of our key metrics is volume right now. So we have facilitated more than 2 billion in cross-chain volumes. And then, of course, the number of chains and tokens that we are supporting. So this is our current focus in terms of expansion. Right now we are on 6 chains, but we're currently expanding, and we plan to be on roughly 20 chains by the end of Q1 next year. And then ultimately the objective is to really make the ability to add a new chain permissionless. So as we partnered recently with the Alt Layer, which is a rollup as a service tool that allows you to spin up a new rollup with a click. And now it will come out with Connex being integrated, right? So you click a button, and then you get a new rollup as a corporation, for example, and then you have a bridge that connects you to all the other rollups immediately. So this is some of the things that we have in plan. Just to give you another cool update, we recently launched our token and our DAO. This was, it's the first full cross-chain DAO that exists, because we launched our token, we did an airdrop, so I'll invite you to check out the website to check if you're eligible, as a cross-chain airdrop. So the idea is that users can claim their Next on the chains that they prefer, and the bridging and stuff is all abstracted for them. And the DAO becomes cross-chain because then people can vote on governance things from any chain, and the proposals can be executed towards any chain. So it's really the idea of enabling these DAOs to now interact with the different chains. So whenever they have to move their treasury, change a parameter in the smart contract somewhere else, they can all do it with these tools that extend the potential markets and reach.
Now this is very cool. Okay, so basically DAOs are going to be probably one of your biggest customers, I would say, or users, which would benefit from this, because that's sometimes painful to do the DAO voting and fix all the things. And of course, you guys heard it, right? Alpha, airdrop. These are just words some people I know are very curious about. So any last words, Max?
No, I mean it's a very exciting period, I think, for interoperability and for new applications that are coming out. And I think the state of the market right now allows us to really focus on building something that one has value, right, with applications that have real utility, that solve real problems, but at the same time that have an experience that can become mainstream. Right? We can, the bull market is for rushing and screaming everywhere, and instead these phases are more like, okay, let's think about it. What is the best way to really onboard the next 1 billion users with new applications, new utility, and a user experience that makes sense, that is for humans.
Thank you very much, Max. That was Max from Connex. And you guys will find all the links to Max online and to Connext in the show notes. Don't worry.